Powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome to another edition of Unconventional Playbook. Please take the time and hit that like and subscribe button. Our goal for this episode is to get over 100 likes. So if you're clicking on the content, you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on with the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of decisions and things that have to be made. The one thing that I'm happy of is that we got KOC locked up. Got him with a 4-year deal, it sounds like, roughly around $16 million. So we got our coach of the future. KOC is going to be here for a very long time. I want to talk about this quarterback situation. There's been a lot of stuff bounced around. You know, let me be clear. I'm on the J.J. McCarthy bandwagon. I want J.J. McCarthy to be our starting quarterback next year. I think we can roll with him, take that salary cap money, fill out our team, and get this thing rolling again and have a pretty good season. If not, make a run into the playoffs. But I want to talk about the quarterback options out there. Now, in no way am I advocating for any such option. As I just said, I'm rolling with J.J. McCarthy, but I think there's enough interest and enough what-ifs out there that it just makes you ponder for a little bit about some of the options that are out there. And I'm really honest with you. I'm surprised that people are dismissing so many different options. When you look at the Vikings roster and what the Vikings can put together in terms of free agency, man, if you get the quarterback right, you got something. You saw what we did with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold came crashing down at the end of this whole thing. The last 2 games, arguably playing his worst 2 games of the season at the end of the season. But you saw when he was playing differently through the start of the season, throughout the season, what our football team could look like. Going 14-4. No one expected Sam Darnold to do that, but he did. So we're going to touch on all the different rumors that are out there, possibilities. Give me your thoughts in the comments, man, because some of these are pretty out there, but we're going to talk about them on Unconventional Playbook. Just to give them some credence, talk about them a little bit. The first one is Daniel Jones. I'm really surprised that everybody is talking about Daniel Jones like he's garbage and trash. And that's not my verbiage when I think about Daniel Jones. Is Daniel Jones worth the contract that he got with the New York Giants? Absolutely not. He got that contract because of Ed Donatello's defense with the Minnesota Vikings, earned him a playoff victory. And so the New York Giants rolled out the checkbook for him, wrote him a check. We all knew it was a mistake at the time, but the New York Giants had to do it. But keep in mind, Daniel Jones has a playoff win. Do you know how many quarterbacks would love to have a playoff win under their belt? Daniel Jones is also very athletic, very smart, very cerebral quarterback. So you have to wonder how much of it was the mess of the New York Giants and how much of it was Daniel Jones. If we've learned anything this year, is sometimes when you have a quarterback that's in a bad situation, that's with a bad organization, how much blame do you put on the organization and how much blame do you put on the quarterback? I mean, look at Sam Darnold. You could argue that Sam Darnold wasn't as bad as everyone thought he was. I mean, you can give a lot of credit to KOC, and KOC deserves a lot of credit, but Sam Darnold had to go and play for the New York Jets. I mean, think about this. A Hall of Famer like Aaron Rodgers goes into the Jets, and all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers can't play quarterback anymore. Think about that. Think about how devastating that is. Deshaun Watson, lighting it up for the Houston Texans, goes to the Cleveland Browns. All of a sudden can't play quarterback anymore. Sometimes It is the organization. So I asked the question, how much of it is the New York Giants? How much was it Daniel Jones? See, I think Daniel Jones can be serviceable. Do I want him as our starting quarterback? No. But I understand that if something happens to JJ, Daniel Jones is a pretty decent backup, depending on the price tag and what we bring him back for. There may be interest on the open market for Daniel Jones. I don't know, but a guy that has played in the league that supposedly had the upside that he's had and has a playoff victory. How many quarterbacks out there are like that? Sam Darnold would love to have a playoff victory under his belt. Daniel Jones has that. So I'm just surprised that people are tossing around Daniel Jones like he is garbage. Daniel Jones is not garbage. He may not be a franchise quarterback, but he has athleticism, can run the short game, can run the intermediate game, doesn't have a great long ball, but is a smart, cerebral player that can make things happen with his legs as well. So Daniel Jones is a viable option. I wouldn't mind having him as a backup or in the emergency that J.J. McCarthy can't perform and is not ready to go in September. So now I look at the whole Sam Darnold issue. Would you bring Sam Darnold back? Does the price tag really matter? I think there's a consensus out there that no one would sign Daniel Jones that's affiliated with the Vikings or that's a Viking fan. You wouldn't sign him for $40 million. I don't think anyone wants to invest that kind of money in Sam Darnold. Number one, he's not worth the $40 million. He is not that level of a quarterback. That's just my opinion. Put your comments, put your thoughts in the comments. If you think he's worth $40 million, I want to hear from that person. I don't think he's worth the $40 million. Not only is he not worth the $40 million, but if you sign him to that sort of price tag, that's almost all of your salary cap flexibility gone. Invested in Sam Darnold. So you can't do that. You got to be careful in terms of the franchise tag, because the franchise tag is roughly going to be that $40 million. And if you can't find a trade partner, you're stuck with him. So you're almost going to have to find a trade partner before you even entertain the franchise tag. People have been bantering about, do you bring Sam Darnold back if he wants to come back for a cheaper deal? That is on the table, people. Everyone out here knows that Sam Darnold wants to be paid, but Sam Darnold got a little taste of success with the Minnesota Vikings this year. Man, that has to feel really good inside, especially when you spent time with the Jets and the Carolina Panthers. Now all of a sudden you're being lifted on your teammates' shoulders, getting doused with water. That's got to be worth something. And I'm not saying if Sam Darnold can get 60 mil somewhere that he's not going to take that. But would he come back for 20, 25 mil? And if behind the scenes he tells Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, hey, I would like to run this thing back. I would like to come back on a one-year deal, 20 to 25 million. Would you entertain that? You would have to have the discussion with him. Well, Sam, if you come back, there's no guarantee that you're going to start. It's going to be a quarterback battle. Would Sam Darnold entertain that, a quarterback competition with J.J. McCarthy? Or would he come back specifically to be J.J. McCarthy's backup? I don't see that. But I do see Sam Darnold possibly entertaining taking less to be in a good situation. What that number is, I have no idea. I heard a rumor today that Sam Darnold was in Las Vegas. Las Vegas Raiders just hired Pete Carroll. Sam Darnold could just be going to Las Vegas for a vacation. Football season is over, got his meetings done. He's in Las Vegas trying to have a good time and be laid back. I don't think so. I don't believe in coincidences. Pete Carroll gets hired there. Sam Darnold's on a plane going to Las Vegas, possibly looking at real estate in Las Vegas as a possible destination. I don't think this Sam Darnold thing is done. However, I don't think that Sam Darnold ends up back with the Minnesota Vikings. That's just what my gut tells me. I think he's going to chase the money somewhat. He's got to. You only get one shot at a payday. And I think he's going to take his shot and grab the money. Although I do think he lost some ducats over the last 2 games, I do think he's going to get a pretty nice payday from somebody. So Sam Darnold is on the table. Let's talk about J.J. McCarthy. That's where I want to invest my time, energy, and money in. Under a rookie contract, we can fill out a team around him, rebuild that offensive line, rebuild that defensive line, add some corners, and give J.J. McCarthy the ultimate insurance policy, security blanket, whatever you want to call it. A nice running back that can offset the passing game and take a little bit of pressure off of J.J. McCarthy. I think the Vikings need to go out and get a back that can make some plays, and that's a threat every time he touches the ball. I don't think that is Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones had a great year for the Minnesota Vikings. You could argue that Aaron Jones may not have been as productive as he could have possibly been because of the offensive line. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint, we need younger legs back there. We need somebody that's a little bit more durable than Aaron Jones. And I think that you can do that in the draft. A lot of great prospects out there. I like Scatterbo from Arizona State. Playmaker, powerful running back, elusive as he needs to be, and a pretty tough kid. But I digress. We'll talk about running backs later. But J.J. McCarthy, here's what I want you to do. For everybody that says J.J. McCarthy is going to be a bust or you don't know how good J.J. McCarthy is going to be, let me start off by saying I know it was the preseason, but go back and watch the preseason game that J.J. McCarthy played in. And I want you to watch every throw. I want you to watch the release. I want you to watch the mobility. I want you to watch the smarts. I don't care if he was playing against second and third stringers. I don't care about that. I don't care about it being the preseason. I just want you to watch the technique. Watch the throws. Watch the moxie. Watch the decision making. Watch the zip on the ball. Watch the short game. Watch the long game. Watch the intermediate game. And I just want you, whenever you start to question J.J. McCarthy and his talents, or whether or not he's going to be good for the Vikings, or whether or not he's going to be a bust, I want you to go back, UP Nation, and I want you to watch that preseason game. And if you want to do something a little bit further, go back and watch the national championship game when he played for Michigan. Go back and watch some of those things. And again, don't look at the score or who's winning or losing. Don't look at the plays where he's handing the ball off. Watch the way the kid throws the ball. Watch the zip and the decision making. That is J.J. McCarthy. That is on the table as well. I'm going to talk about another one. I've been hesitant to talk about this one, but you guys that follow football has seen it in the media. Man, it is ramping up. It is ramping up. And people love these kind of stories. I like them too. I like to read science fiction every now and then. You know, a good fictional story. But I got to talk about it because this is Unconventional Playbook, and this is an option that may be out there for the Minnesota Vikings. Dare I say, Aaron Rodgers played for the New York Jets last year. Now, I'm surprised that everybody is talking about Aaron Rodgers like he's washed up. Now, let me be clear. I don't want any part of Mr. Aaron Rodgers on this football team. Why? Because I think we need to start rolling with the future right now. Not that Aaron Rodgers is washed up and can't play football. I'm not on board with that. I don't agree with that. I think Aaron Rodgers is still a good quarterback and still has another year or two left in him. I don't trust the Jets. When's the last time the Jets have had a good quarterback? I mean, you could argue that it's back when Joe Namath played. I know they had Pennington and a couple of stopgap guys, but nobody really great. Aaron Rodgers wasn't bad until he went to the New York Jets. First year popped his Achilles. Last year was a train wreck. How much of that is the Jets? And how much of that is Aaron Rodgers? I'm going to say at least, without knowing anything, 90% of it is on the Jets. I don't believe Aaron Rodgers has digressed in terms of throwing the football. If you want to say he's a little slower, I'll buy that. If you want to say he's a little bit less mobile than he used to be, I'll buy that. He's an old man and he popped his Achilles. But in terms of throwing the ball, Aaron Rodgers still got that gun. Aaron Rodgers still can throw that thing. And so you have to think about it, even if it's for a minute, and even if you are against it, let's just dream a little bit, UP Nation. Let's just hypothetically say that everything you saw from Aaron Rodgers last year was the New York Jets. You could easily say that. Every quarterback that has played for the Jets has failed in the last decade. Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. You go there, you're going to fail. It's the same thing with the Cleveland Browns, guys. Some of these organizations, you just can't get right with them. No matter who goes in there, they're not going to be the same player. So just imagine for a second, hypothetically, that Aaron Rodgers is a little bit close to the same player that he was before he came to the Jets. A little bit older, not as mobile, but still can fire that thing. Now you give him a running game with the Minnesota Vikings. Now you give him a passing game with a plethora of wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in the game, in Justin Jefferson. Just think about it. Just think about it. You got a number 2 in Jordan Addison, a number 3 in Speedy Naylor, if they don't add Cooper Kupp. We'll talk about that later, but there's a possibility that they could add Cooper Kupp. And then you talk about T.J. Hawkinson coming back as well. And I just want you to think, Aaron Rodgers for a year to give us our shot, along with a revamped Brian Flores defense. Now, let me start by saying, again, I just want to be clear. I don't want you guys to get this thing twisted up. I'm just trying to get you to think. Just for a minute. I've told you who I'm rolling with. That's J.J. McCarthy. That's who I want. But even though I know what's good for me, I can fantasize a little bit, right? And get you to think a little bit, right? Aaron Rodgers, with the weapons that we have and the defense that we have, and it's only for a year. It's only for a year. And I know people are saying, okay, well, what's the price tag? Aaron Rodgers don't need the money, and I think Aaron Rodgers would capitulate to play with the talent that we have. So I don't think he would draw a big price tag. Now, if you want to talk to me about the off-the-field stuff and the locker room stuff, man, that is valid. That is valid. He's a little quirky. He's a little different. There are times where he's committed, times he's not. And you would be taking a chance at him coming in, killing your culture. Possible. We've seen it. We've seen the dark retreats or whatever he calls it. Those of you that watch the Netflix special, Aaron Rodgers is a little quirky. But just imagine if you wanted to entertain that and get him on the same page to make a run at another Super Bowl title. Just like Brett Favre, being in the same division as the team that let him go. I think you would get a pretty motivated Aaron Rodgers. We can dream, UP Nation. We can dream. I'm not saying I want it. I'm just saying that these are stories and things that have been bantied about in terms of the quarterback position. Now, I think the Minnesota Vikings, they're going to go back. They're going to assess everything, look at things from this season, and I think ultimately they are going to go with J.J. McCarthy, with Daniel Jones as backup, unless there's some fools out there that are going to pay Daniel Jones a buttload of money. I don't see that, but you never know. There's a lot of dumb organizations out there. See if Daniel Jones can be that guy. But I think ultimately it's going to be J.J. and Daniel Jones. And J.J. McCarthy will be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. And UP Nation, Skull Nation, I can't wait. What are your thoughts? How do you think this quarterback thing is going to end up? Put it in the comments. I'm interested in hearing what UP Nation has to say. Black Al Bundy, what do you got to say about that, man? Two-Tone, what do you got to say about that? Sarah, what do you got to say about it? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about how this quarterback situation is going to turn out? I know what my hopes are. Again, I'm rolling with J.J. McCarthy. Please hit that like button if you like the content. Our goal is to get a lot of likes this episode. We've got some special guests coming up this week. We're going to have my guy Rodney Young coming back, talk a little bit football. More specifically, I know this is a Minnesota station, but you guys know I'm from Ohio. My Ohio State Buckeyes won the national championship, OHIO. We're going to talk a little bit Ohio State football. I may talk some Minnesota sports as well with my guy Rodney Young. Haven't forgotten about my guy, Mr. Patrick Buchanan. We are going to try to get him back on the show sooner or later. I know UP Nation misses him. This has been an Unconventional Playbook. We will make sure to see you when we see you. Latrey, take us home, man.
I don't know who I am. Can I say I'm a man? Am I losing my mind? Am I wasting my time? Do I know